Two serious accidents over the weekend lead to injuries and an arrest. Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spinner joins me for Monday with the Mayor, and Kurt Kuchsell takes a look back at Jasper's state finals loss to Norwell ahead in sports. Those stories and much more are up next here on 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. In your news, area police worked two serious accidents on Saturday, one of which resulted in an arrest for operating while intoxicated, and the other yielded citations for operating while intoxicated. An accident along Newton Street on the north side of Jasper on Saturday afternoon resulted in one person being injured and one of the drivers being arrested for operating while intoxicated. Jasper police say 64-year-old Gary Brown of Santa Claus was northbound on Newton Street at Riling Drive just after 3 p.m. on Saturday afternoon when the accident took place. Police say 39-year-old Charles Klein of Lagodi was southbound on Newton Street north of 36th Street when he encountered slow traffic. Klein became impatient and began tailgating and swerving in his lane of travel. Klein attempted to pass the vehicle in front of him, but lost control of his vehicle as he crossed Newton Street and struck Brown's vehicle on the driver's front side. The impact caused Brown's vehicle to flip over onto its roof. A passenger in Brown's vehicle, 60-year-old Maria Brown, complained of pain in her head and right arm. She was transported to Memorial Hospital for treatment of her injuries. Gary Brown and Klein were not injured. Both cars were totaled in the accident. Upon investigation, police determined that Klein was under the influence of a controlled substance at the time of the crash. Klein was lodged in the DuBois County Security Center for operating while intoxicated. He was also cited for driving left of center, reckless driving, unsafe lane movement, and failure to obey signs and markings while driving. Memorial Hospital EMS, the Jasper Fire Department, and wreckers from Sternberg's and Ubelors all assisted at the scene. A Saturday night crash along County Road 400 South sent one person to a regional hospital with serious injuries. DuBois County Sheriff's deputies say 34-year-old Nicholas Betts of Birdseye and 22-year-old Reese Van Winkle of Huntingburg both claim that the other person was in their lane of travel along County Road 400 South as they approached from opposite directions prior to the crash, which took place just after 7:30 p.m. Saturday evening. Betts' vehicle escaped damage, but Van Winkle's vehicle was a total loss in the crash. Both drivers registered BACs above the legal limit, with Van Winkle's BAC registering at .09 and Betts' BAC registering at .19%. Both Betts and Van Winkle were cited for operating while intoxicated. A passenger in Van Winkle's vehicle, Benjamin Schweppe of Ferdinand, was the only passenger in Van Winkle's vehicle not wearing a seatbelt and was thrown from the vehicle as it rolled. Schweppe was transported to Memorial Hospital and was later airlifted to St. Mary's Hospital in Evansville for treatment of a fractured spine. Officials say Schweppe is in serious but stable condition. Neither Betts nor Van Winkle were injured in the crash. St. Anthony first responders and Memorial Hospital EMS assisted at the scene. This past weekend, the St. Henry Heinrichsdorf Fest held this year's two-day festival. The event was held at the Catholic Knights of America Hall in St. Henry. The event featured food vendors, a beer garden, and the opening event for the WBDC Cornhole Tournament of Champions. Prior to the event, St. Henry Heinrichsdorf Fest coordinator Josh Meyer says this event was important to raise funds for the St. Henry Community Club.
Well, it's without a doubt the primary fundraiser for the St. Henry Community Club. So the funds generated through this fundraiser go a long way as far as funding community improvement projects. We also use that money to host several events throughout the year, kids activities. So without this fest, all of those things in and around the community would be impossible.
The event began Friday night at 5:30 p.m. and ran throughout the day and evening on Saturday. On another note, Steeler Nation won the first tournament of the year for the WBDC Cornhole Tournament of Champions in the Pro Division. Steeler Nation becomes the first team to advance to the Cornhole Tournament of Champions championship match, which will be held at the Huntingburg Herbstfest at the end of September. The next round of the WBDC Cornhole Tournament of Champions is set for this Friday at the Ferdinand Heimat Fest. Registration is set for 6 p.m. and throwing will start at 7 p.m. On Friday, the DuBois County Veterans Council held its annual U.S. flag disposal ceremony at the DuBois County 4-H Fairgrounds. Several people turned out for the event with their worn-out flags, regardless of size, to be disposed of. New flags were made available for purchase at the event, courtesy of a DuBois County Boy Scout troop. DCVC President Alan Brom says the idea for holding a proper flag disposal ceremony came from the military.
Most people will throw them either in the dump or burn them at home or take them to a landfill or whatever, and that is absolutely wrong. That's kind of like what you call a sacred thing. It's you should value that like you do all your other valuable things. It's a special thing. It's Old Glory. It's what Old Glory is.
Brom says disposal of old flags, like at the ceremony, is the way to do it, and people should not just throw their old flags in the dumpster.
It's a government thing. It's a military thing. It's what it's all about. A lot of your military bases do this all the time. They have programs like this. And our Veterans Council organization got on the bandwagon and decided a few years back we need to do something to help the local area out. People come up to us all the time and say, what do we do with a tattered flag? What do we do to get rid of it? We say, well, we're working on a program, and that's where this program has come from. That's the proper way to dispose of it.
The recycled teenagers sang the national anthem and various other patriotic songs during the event. There also was a short ceremony held in honor of prisoners of war and those missing in action. Last night, the Ferdinand Miss Heimat Fest and Little Miss and Mr. pageants were held at Forest Park High School's auditorium. Shanna Huffman, the daughter of Scott and Sarah Huffman, was crowned queen and also was named Miss Congeniality. Brooke Mullen was named as runner-up, and Araceli Garcia was named Miss Photogenic. In the Little Miss Heimat Fest pageant, Avari Schneider took home the Little Miss Heimat Fest honors, with Hattie Dilger taking home runner-up honors, and Riley Henson being named as Miss Photogenic. Elijah Brosmer, the son of Scott and Lori Brosmer, won the Little Mr. pageant, with Carter Giesler as the runner-up, and Cody Bramas taking home the Mr. Photogenic honors. The Ferdinand Heimat Fest is set to kick off this Friday evening at 5 p.m. with the opening of food and game booths, as well as the beer garden. The opening ceremonies will take place at 7 p.m. on Friday on the main stage, with ambassadors Lee and Jenny Begley, as well as the winners from last night's contest. Other featured events during Heimat Fest will include the WBDC Cornhole Tournament of Champions, a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, a car show, and a barbecue contest. And a programming note for you, the Heimat Fest Queen pageant is set to air on 18 WJTS in its entirety next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and again on Sunday, June 30th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, the Ferdinand Heimat Fest Queen pageant will air in its entirety here on 18 WJTS at 7:30 Eastern Time this next Thursday, June 27th, and at 2 p.m. Eastern Time this upcoming Sunday, June 30th. Coming up after the break, Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spinner joins me for Monday with the Mayor. Plus, warm temperatures and sunny skies are ahead in your local forecast, sports with Kurt Guxell, and Inform with Bill Potter. That's up next here on 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.